I just love that open. Hello and welcome everybody to the College Football Mafia Network Big Freakin' Friday. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. With me are my two partners in crime, guys that help me stay up at night thinking wonderful things for our shows. I love when I'm woken up at 2 a.m. with a great idea on how to make $1 bazillion. It's pretty fun. I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. It's Friday evening. We know that scheduling can be tough, so everybody here, we really appreciate it. First, Ute, what's in your mind this evening?
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on in the college football landscape. We're going to get to the Clemson race to judgment. That's the request, at least. We released a new Wild University video earlier today. There's been a lot of dialogue about that, too. We're going to get into a lot of other things to cover, too, with the new ratings for the AA sports games for schools that have come out. So crazy stuff happening right now. I'm getting absolutely jacked for football season, though, guys. It feels like it's getting closer and closer. You know, we're only a few months away now. And, man, Big 12, let's go.
Let's go is right. We were talking from Brett Yolmark had some quotes today that we'll have to also dive into. Our other partner here, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to look him in the eye, you know, what you're supposed to really do. Watch out when his hand comes up. He could be choking you through the computer. But tonight we have Moen. How we doing tonight, Moen?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm ready. I've been ready for 2 days to do this. I thought Friday was Wednesday. So I'm ready to do this show tonight. Really quick, as we get started, I want to just take care of a little business. Make sure you're following us all on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Turn on your notifications. That way you know when our next shows are. And really, finally, consider becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. We're growing, consistently adding more videos. And really quick, Ute, why don't you tell us, besides the video that you just put out today, kind of what goes on with the Wild Ute University videos?
Sure. And Moan, it's good to see your face. I did like the mask, though, man. That was pretty balla.
You can't breathe in it. I understand why Darth Vader had all those breathing problems.
Yeah, no joke.
Seriously, right?
No joke.
So, hey, what we do for, we love looking at realignment. We're kind of realignment dorks out here. I certainly am and stuff. So built a model based on what the Big 12 is focusing on to see really how good candidates are. And we look at select candidates, sometimes it's shocking, sometimes it's appalling, sometimes it's right on the money and what you think. And I think the most recent one this morning put out is more of like an uppercut to folks and everything on really how it spits out. So the most recent one that was put out this morning is the basketball brands. Who's the last one, the last seat on the bench that's going to get in, is looking at UConn and Syracuse and stacking them up based on the metrics. And it's a shocker, y'all. So a lot of people don't like it. I understand it. When I put it together, I was shocked at it too. I had to do it twice, but still, you know what? Sometimes it is what it is. The data says what it says. The data doesn't mean that it's the final determinant. It's not. You need to if you're the president of these Big 12 universities and there's a school like a Syracuse or UConn available, you're going to have to make a decision if that's a fit, a geographic fit, a cultural fit, and plus with what you're trying to build. But as far as on the paper, on the data side, check it out.
Excellent. And just so we know, all of our member videos are locked up. Nobody else has access to them. So if you want to be the first guy at the water cooler that actually knows the facts about some of these schools and realignment, these Wild Ute universities are bar none the best in the business. I would put them up against any creator out there, except for maybe Mr. Beast, because that guy is
Mr. Beast, yeah.
Mr. Beast is amazing. I just bumped for him at Mr. Beast. So we got, the Hokie Horror, the last seat on the bench. That would be Syracuse or UConn. Coos Corner. Coos going to be joining us in about 20 minutes. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. He's going to come on and kind of tell us what he's doing and what we can do to help support him. Anyways, we've just got a bunch of videos here. The last ones I want to mention are Moen's videos. Moen, tell everybody about these series.
Well, that other one was supposed to debut today, but my lawnmower threw a belt. So timeline will be recorded tomorrow, the Pacific Powerhouse. What would happen if Texas, Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech along with Colorado, joined the Pac-10
Right.
and became the ultimate force in the universe.
Maybe anything's possible. I tell you what, when you're looking back, what seemed clear at the time isn't so clear now. So I agree with you. I think they're done there. Also, what's up with Mo and rants? Tell everybody what those are.
I get drunk and I rant.
And this is the fact: he actually gets drunk and he actually rants. That's it. There's nothing.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to over.
Not safe for work.
Not safe for work.
Don't be pulling up the Mo and rant at work.
Totally.
Or do, depending if you don't want to keep your job. I mean,
totally agree with you. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a scrolling banner that has all our show nights, all the show times, and we're trying to go wall to wall through the week. We're growing, adding more creators, doing more things. So that list is going to get bigger. Also, I've had a couple of people reach out to me maybe in the last 2 weeks about how to give money without going through YouTube. There's that Venmo number at the bottom down there. And we obviously will take any donations you want to give us to help keep the lights on. That's Absolutely. I just want to say it once because people evidently don't like giving money to YouTube. So take it for what it is. All right. Yeah, let's just start at the top then. Moen, let's start at the beginning of the week. What was the big talking point at the beginning of this week?
Oh, well, you have to go to the weekend when it was Utah was joining the ACC.
Right. Sorry, you're correct. Yep.
But, you know.
So this is just one of hundreds of links that I found. Basically, go across the country. Could Utah lead the Big 12 to join the ACC? New report on ACC expansion. ACC revenue hits record. So my reaction to this, I'm just going to tell everybody at the beginning, was visceral, because what was being said was completely made up by somebody. Completely made up. And all they did was for 3 days take hold of Twitter and choke it. It took over all the news of the week. And I want to make sure everybody knows that here we've been saying for over a year that's nonsense, right? Utah going to the Big 12 made the most sense. There was an opportunity to go there, but that was settled last July, August. So now where we are, Ute, with everything related to Utah and the conference they're at. Let's bottom line this sucker.
Yeah, this is a great discussion. We talked about it a bit on Tuesday. Just to clarify something, we spoke briefly. There was a comment in chat that mentioned that Greg Flugar mentioned that Oregon State, like some Oregon State account fan, was the one who drove all this. That was not true, and Greg actually corrected that after the fact. So we're just going to point that out real quick on the show and everything. But going back to it, Utah's not joining the ACC. Utah had a chance to join the ACC 10 months ago, 12 months ago, and they chose to go to the Big 12 for geographic reasons, for financial reasons, and plus just play history. Like, I want to play BYU. I want to play Colorado, Arizona State. I know those teams are in my geography. I don't want to go play Wake Forest and Boston College. You know, like, that's just not really the best for the program. Utah's sticking around the Big 12. Utah is not going anywhere. It's clear, definitive. It ain't happening. Big 12 is the place for the Utes.
Really quick, we had a statement from the Utah athletic director, Mark Harlan, came out on Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember the date. We could check it. The 28th, maybe that was Wednesday. And this is a bottom line statement. This is from University of Utah. It says, statement from Utah Athletics regarding rumors of Utah and ACC. We are proud to be entering into membership with the Big 12 Conference in the coming months and excited to join our new colleagues and member institutions. A report over the weekend that suggests otherwise completely fabricated and irresponsible. Bottom line, this is not happening. Moen, really quick. Well, it doesn't have to be quick. You can talk as long as you want. You knew that this news was completely off the wall. But I want you to go second level for everybody and say, what might have the motivation been?
Grasping at straws. I mean, grasping at straws. That's what the ACC is doing now. They're trying to change the narrative that they're dying. We believe that they're in the denial stage of grief so far. I have an argument with a guy. There's an account on Twitter called "Did the ACC Die Today?" The ACC died when Florida State filed suit.
Right.
And then it really died when Clemson filed suit.
Right. And we're going to talk about that next. All right. So last words about this. Out in the world, if you guys want us to comment on this still, feel free to leave a comment. I didn't say that at the very beginning, but we read all comments. We go through them. The ones in the live show, we parse and try to find the best comments out there. Member comments are obviously preferred. And then all super chats are read, even sometimes when I have to say bad words. All right. Let's go back here and get some shout outs, shall we?
Yes.
Shout outs.
Here we go. David Hackett says, "Yay, it's Friday. Hello, everyone." Thank you, David. How about a Syracuse and a Georgia Tech? Let's start off the show right. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. The drinking game is live. Syracuse and Georgia Tech. David Hackett's a member, and we really appreciate him. Timothy Green, let's get ready for another great show. It's Big Freakin' Friday. Look at that, Moen. The name is cut through. That makes Moen very happy because it was his idea. Glenn Lumen, good morning from the Philippines. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you being here. Another member and valuable part of the Mafia family. Mark Bowman, another member, says, "Oh, g'day, mates. I have been streaming a lot of Australian TV series lately." Have you guys ever done that?
Good day. Throwing out a shrimp on the barbie there, mate.
Okay, yeah. I've never done that, Mark, so that sounds interesting. Another day we might have to break that down. Dark Moon says, "Good evening." Thank you very much, Dark Moon. That's our own comment. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Moen, for that. Daniel Gygax, "Hi, everyone. I'm going to have to listen podcast style where I'm driving, so I can't participate. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking tonight, guys. Just bear with me. Participate when anyone mentions the school in Atlanta where you become a hell of an engineer."
Right? Georgia Tech, baby. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
TF Williams, another member, says, "Hey, everyone." Coy says, "Hi, all." Let's see here. John Peterson, "Happy Friday. Go Cougs." Good to have you here, John. I think there's a John Peterson that's been trying to reach me on Instagram. If you're John Peterson, and hit me up on YouTube, hit me up on Twitter. I'd like to talk there. I'm not sure where that Instagram thing came from. Let's see. Clint Moses says, "Georgia Tech drink whiskey, the Mafia whiskey bottle." Thank you very much. Illini Ted, "Hey guys, good to have you here, Illini Ted." Coy, "Illini Ted, there is my Illini buddy." There we go. Connor Johnson says, Clint Moses, "Good to have you here, Connor. Thanks for representing OSU." Let's see. Doc Gibbs, "About time for SEC to take its big bad realignment boot out from under realignment curtain. So, bro, Big Ten won't confuse SEC moving slowly with weakness." Moen.
Tony Petitti read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. This is all planned out that he's going to annoy the SEC to make a move so he can get exactly what he wants.
That's hilarious. I love it. Let's go with a super chat right out the gate. Becky Go Huskies, one of our contributors on the Big West Mafia show on Monday nights. At Moen looks like he's traveling back in time to stop Notre Dame from independent Terminator style.
Yeah, I'm going back in time to punch Fielding Yost in the dick. So.
Moen, you look absolutely baller, my friend. Cheers to you.
He does.
Really, you do,
right,
man.
He's got the Men in Black and Matrix going on. Is what we got.
That mohawk just fits so dang good.
Well, I'm going to grow it out and dye it.
Okay, I can't wait. Connor Johnson, I said hi to him a minute ago, but he said, "Did Bomber sign the petition?" I didn't know what petition that was. He posted later. It was to kick. Let's do this right. I want to make sure I get it right. Connor Johnson says, and replace them with the Beavers. Kick out.
Who's getting kicked out?
Utah. Kick out Utah. That's what he said the petition is.
What petition?
Kick out Utah.
Give us a link, Connor. I gotta see this.
It's right here. He says, Connor Johnson says, West Virginia fan started a petition to kick out Utah.
It's probably the one troll West Virginia account.
I think that's hilarious. It's so fun. Isn't this more fun? Let's just talk about that for a second. The Big 12 is 10 times more engaging than the Pac-12 was.
Oh, absolutely. 10 times more engaging. Like right now is when the wine and cheese club would be happening right now. So you really need to keep it quiet, when you're at the wine and cheese club and sip the wines, taste the notes, taste the cheese, and everything, but you can't speak too much. Right. So now in the Big 12, it's just freaking throwing fists.
Let's go.
I love it. Let's go.
Oh, time out here. What are you drinking, Wild Ute?
What am I drinking? I'm drinking wine.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Wine and cheese club.
Maybe I'm still in the wine and cheese club.
Maybe.
Let's see here. Shonsky, another member, says hi, everyone. Thank you, Shonsky. Steve, hi, Florida. Bring on Coos. He'll be here in a little bit. Yep. Let's see. Almighty Finn, Coy. Damn, he was a very good player. I'm not sure who that was too. I was trying to get to this one. Antoine Codes, another member, says the Syracuse UConn video. Antoine Codes, I'm giving you an opportunity right now. Post in the comments if you want to come on the show and give us some feedback on that video. We would love to hear it. This is an invitation just for you. I'm willing to give you the link. Just post in the comment section, and I'd love to have you on for a few minutes to talk about it. I know you.
Okay, let's be honest about this. Let's talk about this for a little bit more, Bomber.
Go ahead.
Bomber and I recorded that last night, and we had a long conversation after because of some of the findings. They seemed just so out there and everything, and we were like, hey. Should we even release this? But then, at the end of the day, we thought, hey, we need to trust the model. The data says this, so we're going to go with it. We're always okay to pivot with different things. But here's the thing is, when we're looking at, these Wild University models, we've already modeled a bunch of other teams and everything. I still think it's legit. I think it's good. I like it, actually. Although it reveals something that's surprising, something that, you just say, this doesn't make any sense and stuff. Sometimes data does that. Sometimes there is these cases and stuff where it's hey, no way that UConn and Syracuse would be a fit somewhere based on X, Y, and Z. But sometimes it's just a paradigm shift, guys. To be real honest and everything, that's exactly what that video is. Not to say that the model's perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying it's dang good and it's the best thing out there. And that apply that with your own knowledge base, what you know about this whole community knows a lot about realignment to make a good informed decision. So, hey, it was surprising to me when I was doing the research too, but hey, why is Yormark pursuing UConn? Let me ask you that. Anyone that's doubting that information, why does Yormark want UConn so bad? Why did he want UConn the last round? And why did the Big 12 presidents say no to it? Because the Big 12 presidents didn't think that would be a really good fit, right? That's my interpretation. Yeah, go ahead.
Antoine said he doesn't want to join the show. So if that's okay, for any of the new members that have watched the video, Syracuse, UConn, I'm inviting you right now, just, the rest of the show, I'll put the link in there if somebody wants to come on the show and talk to us about just that video. I would really appreciate it. Hey, Moen, Mike Smith's back into the OG membership realm.
Yeah, I like that beard.
A
great beard.
Where's our sounder?
Well, here, we'll give him that.
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. What's the problem?
Let's get him do we have a hell yeah there or something?
Yeah, let's get him a winner, man.
That one we just couldn't really hear, to be honest.
Well, maybe.
We'll get you, Mike.
All right, Mike. We want to give you a full sounder experience. All right, tell you what. I'll move on to the next one. There you go, winner. That'll work. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike has been a member in the past. He's a new member again. We appreciate him. Ryan Tavis, one of those data geeks that we've used over the months. Another member, and gives us a super chat for $2 saying ACC bargaining state of grief. Moen, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's probably the bargaining stage right now. Utah's coming. They're going to end up securing somebody from the SEC. By the end of it all, I want to see how crazy they get.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the ACC certainly in the stages of grief realm. Let's remind everybody, do you guys know the stages of grief? There's 5, right? Like,
I
if we
remember
pull that
hearing
chart.
Thought it was
Yeah,
7.
bargaining is like somewhere like an early on, I still think, right?
Okay.
Or something in the middle.
Okay.
So I think ACC countries getting it. I think they're probably in a stage like that. So I'm agree with Ryan here that they're in the stage of grief. There's a little bit more pushback though from ACC fans nowadays than there was a month or two ago. So that's always something to pay attention to. When the pushback is greatest, that's like when the panic really is tip top and everything. So
All right. Very
not quite
good.
there yet.
Thanks, Ryan, for the super chat. Really appreciate your loyalty, your membership, and everything you do for the community. It's awesome. We'll get a few more shout outs here. We're already 200 comments, so I'm quite a ways behind, so I can't do all the shout outs, but please, if I don't say your name tonight, don't take it personal. Jason Spangler says, how can the ACC die? Sorry, there's nowhere for any of them to go.
Nowhere for any ACC schools to go.
That's what he's saying.
There's a lot of good targets in the ACC for conferences, and like in the Big 12 would love a chance to add several ACC schools, and so would the SEC and the Big 10. So, yeah, there's a lot of places to go and everything. This Clemson situation, I think we should get into this Clemson situation because that's going to be pretty revealing, right?
Yep,
Absolutely.
Can do it.
I think
we can do it right now. Let's go to the Clemson. So let me bring this article up. And I know you've gone through this in detail. You know it top to bottom. What are some of the things that stand out to you on this? By the way, we're going to have Justin join us from he's a North Carolina State fan at 8:15, and we're going to go into this in much cleaner detail. But go ahead, Ute.
Yeah, the big idea here, okay, the big idea that you'll want to digest is that Clemson is asking for a summary judgment on getting a decision about who owns its own media rights after it leaves or if it leaves the conference. Okay. So if Clemson declares they're leaving the conference, who has access to Clemson's media rights through 2036? That's the big idea here with this whole article. If you want to sum it up there, Clemson's asking the judge to make that determination. That's part of the lawsuit that Clemson's suing the ACC in South Carolina about, but that's the specific area of the lawsuit that they're asking for interpretation therefore. So to sum up the article, that's really the big takeaway. And if they get that, either way, if they happen to get that information and the judge rules or opines on if the media rights stay with the ACC or leave with Clemson, it's going to be tectonic either way, because we're going to have a lot of information about, hey, if Clemson, if they have their own media rights, then they're not going to have to pay any like GOR penalties, right? So they pay exit penalties and you'll pay $150 million approximately, get out. It's pretty clear cut, but there's not going to be any related GOR penalties that you're paying to ACC/ESPN. Or on the other side, if there's a favoring of, hey, that your media rights are staying with the ACC, even if you declare to leave, then all of a sudden buying those back and buying those out from the ACC/ESPN is going to be a much more expensive proposition. So it's massive with the case. I mean, if the judge happens to go in the favor of Clemson saying, hey, if you declare to leave, then there's going to be a mass exodus, guys. If there's no tie to the grant of rights after you've declared to leave for any of these schools, and Clemson would be the first shoe to drop, then really the ACC is completely toast. There's no way to save it. It's really like survival at the best. So it's leveraging too for possible settlement. Clemson wants a settlement out of this deal. And can they get it? I don't know. We've talked before on this channel. I'm a finance guy. I've told you that $300 million is the number for ACC survival. And that's a high number, guys. And Clemson doesn't want to pay a lot of money. They want to get out for minimum costs, of course, but they're willing to pay. But really, what's that number going to be? The ACC can't afford to take much less than $300 million. And if it's way less than $300 million, it's toast anyway. So really, there's a lot of stuff going on here to understand. But really, the judge's decision here is going to be pretty telling.
Mo, you want to add anything to that?
Let my Tigers go. Ute does need to take a victory lap. He was correct about the Clemson thing. I saw somebody in chat mentioned it earlier. Go ahead and take your victory lap and accept your kudos on that. I have reached the acceptance part of that. I will accept the Clemson Tigers into the Big Ten, just as soon as they can get out of that deal.
That's
And
right.
Ryan Thomas tells us those 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance.
I jumped
I
right
think
to acceptance.
we're past denial, certainly for ACC. Now I think we're in the anger and bargaining stage. I'm with you, Ryan, right there. Anger for some, bargaining for others in ACC land with what's going on right now. As far as Clemson, we'll see what I mean, that was always something that made sense on my end. I know Greg Flugar has said that that's the chalk now and everything. Doesn't mean that it's done. It's not done yet, but it looks like it's going that way. It always made sense to me based on the geographic partnership with Florida State. You can't just have one team down there in an island. That's the biggest idea there. So you need to grab the biggest brand around. With Clemson, you get Atlanta market if you're the Big Ten. That's the sum of it, guys. That's really why you needed it. I think that Miami is going to come along too. There's nothing on Miami that's just disappeared. It makes too much sense not to. I would say that Miami is going to be the next shoe to drop too, looking to go to Big Ten as well. So I think that you're going to get that little trifecta of Clemson, Miami, and Florida State in the Big Ten. All those add value for different reasons. They're all big brands. And then also they add the travel. They lessen the travel for each other and everything. And possibly you can create some type of quasi-pod or anything to make travel a lot less daunting. But Clemson to the Big Ten. Big Ten wants football brands. You nailed it with Clemson. Big Ten wants new territory, and you get the Atlanta market. That's why it made sense. For the SEC, it doesn't make sense. I told this to you guys a lot of times. You already own the market. You already have the Georgia Bulldogs in Atlanta. You already have South Carolina Gamecocks in state there. They don't bring anything but a football brand. You need to bring more than just something. There's multiple aspects to it with the Big Ten. It made sense all along.
Okay. You can tell you not only is Ute educated in this particular instance on this topic, but he's passionate about some of these evaluations that we do. They're very, very important. They're all detail oriented, and we don't take ideas and just throw them out to the world and tell everybody that that's all it is. That's not what we do. We do the data dives. We come back. We do a little correlation, make sure everybody's on the same page, and then we put something out to the world. And there's no doubt that you, not only in this instance, I think all 3 of us have been right in many, many instances. So it's just fantastic how strong the family we have. And I want to also tip my hat to all of our viewers. All of our viewers help us. You guys give us stories to follow. You give us links to ideas. It all helps, and we really, really appreciate it. So I'm just going to give you a clap out there, and thank you very, very much, Mafia community. All right. Movie time. Blues had it right. Is Wild Ute about to take his bows for being right on Clemson? That's the question of the week. So
Thank you for the opportunity. Movie time. Thank you for the opportunity. Seriously, guys, Miami is the next team you want to look at. Miami to the Big Ten, I think it's pretty strong going to happen. And I think that's the next one where it's going to get smoke over the next weeks, months. Miami to the Big Ten makes way too much sense. It adds for a little trifecta there with Clemson too. So, and eventually the Big Ten, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, so with Miami, I think add that brand that you're adding with Miami football, plus there's advantages being in the city of Miami strategically for recruiting and everything else. It makes so much dang sense. SEC does not want Miami. SEC does not – look, no offense. SEC doesn't want you that much. I know that hurts, but they already own the state in Florida. So SEC doesn't really have any need for Florida State or Clemson. They already own those 2 states. They already own the territory. They're going to go look for new territory. And so that's something to consider. Miami's the next shoe to drop. And so we'll see what happens with Miami. But I think that at the end of the day, Miami is going to be coming along with Clemson and FSU to the Big Ten.
So let's welcome to the show our friend and our part-time contributor to the College Football Mafia Network family. That would be Coos from Coos Corner. How are we doing tonight, Justin?
Doing great. How are you guys?
We're partying.
Good.
A little lit.
I hear you.
Our drinking game words are Syracuse and Georgia Tech, just so you know.
So we've added Syracuse to it now, huh?
We did. Yeah, we did.
We might have to start saying UConn too, actually. After
Yeah,
today, we released a video that shows some pretty revealing information about UConn. So
Really?
UConn's going to be a hot topic. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
So we're glad you joined us, Justin. How are you doing tonight? How's Goose Corner and your family?
Everybody's great, man. Daughter made it home safely from the beach today
Good.
for her senior beach week trip. Everybody's good, man. Life's good. I appreciate you asking and appreciate you having me on.
Always. All we need is a slot usually. If we have a slot and we have a time, we're going to fill it with you. So, all right. So the week started last Saturday, Sunday with this crazy thing about Utah to the ACC.
Right.
I know you have strong feelings about it because you know the history of realignment in that part of the country and how the ACC didn't take West Virginia. So kind of tell us what was your first reaction when you saw the report? I already told everybody what my first reaction was. Instant reply on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is a bunch of crap. So tell us what you were thinking when you saw that.
Well, when I first saw it, it was from a guy named Luke Fletcher, who I don't really know who that is. He's a blogger. I know that, but I'm not sure, how well renowned he is or anything like that. And I thought, this is just a rumor. This guy doesn't have a clue. Then I see Dick Weiss put it out there, who's a actual national sports writer. And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe there is some smoke here.
Right.
But then when you think about it, and then I did watch Wild Ute's awesome video that he did on it and agreed with pretty much everything he said. And then when you just sit back and think about it, it makes absolutely zero sense for them to join the ACC, at least today. Now, that could change in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
Sure.
But today, as we sit here now, it makes absolutely no sense to me that why they would even consider that.
The other follow-up question on that part is when you talk about Utah now integrating with the Big 12, what's your mindset now that it's almost been a year since they applied? The fan bases are strong.
Right.
Now, how are you looking at Utah?
Utah is a great ad for the conference. They are a good brand. They've had great football. I did a video looking at their last 10 years. They have the highest winning percent. If you take out the COVID year, they have the highest winning percentage in the Big 12 the last decade by a very, very slim margin over Oklahoma State.
Right.
They're a good brand, no doubt about it. Now, I've had issues with some of their fans on X who think they're probably better than they really are. But I will say this. They're a good ad for the conference. We need that kind of brand in the conference.
Yep.
And I will say this to Wild Ute, who's the Ute guy here. I'm really impressed. I've done 2 videos this week on Utah, and I have had so many respectful comments from Utah fans. I have changed my opinion. I now realize there's a very, very small amount, and I think all of them are on X, unfortunately.
All of them are on X. Yeah, there's
sure.
Probably a swath, about 5 large Utah accounts that like to stir the pot, like to stick in the ribs and stuff. But that's really not the consensus for most of Utah fans. Yeah. So you'll see it around. If you ever go to Utah home game, no one's going to give you shade. No one's going to say anything crappy to you. We're just going to tailgate with you. But when you get in the stadium, man, it's different, just like any other place, right?
That's right. It should be, right? That's why we love college football.
But Utah fans, I'm glad that I can represent some of them and stuff to say that we're happy to be in the Big 12. The ACC ain't going to happen. We don't want the ACC and stuff. And that some of those X accounts are just idiotic.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that had been the majority of my outside of you, obviously, and 1 or 2 others, majority of my communication had been on X with that handful of people. Yeah. And it gave the whole fan base a bad look.
It did.
But I'm coming around. There are a lot of good people in that fan base, and most of them have come out and have said basically this rumor is absolutely hogwash, basically.
So we're trying to close this chapter, not talk about Utah going anywhere else unless they get an invite from the Big Ten or the SEC.
Right.
And we're not anticipating that happening more in the future, maybe 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Nothing's happening soon.
Yeah, and anything could change. Obviously, the world out there of NCAA football is crazy, right? Down is up, up is down. And now as we're looking forward to the next chapter in this new conference that the Big 12 is, what do you think about the conference top to bottom?
A lot of parity. Every game you look at on the schedule, regardless of what team you are, it's a game you know you have a chance at winning.
Right.
But on the flip side, you also have a chance of losing every game. So there's no gimmies in the league, and there's no one team that you look at and say this team could absolutely dominate the league or will dominate. There's a few who could, but I don't think anybody will. Now,
Okay.
I think as a fan, it's exciting to know that every game is probably going to be close. Every game is probably going to be a nail biter. That's exciting. Now, is that good for the conference long term? I question that a little bit, but
Right.
That is where we are today.
Very good. Let's move on to a new topic so that everybody, because this is something we haven't talked about with Ute. I haven't talked about it with Moen. So this is a surprise for all three of you. But this is going to generate a lot of conversation. Here we go. Breaking news. The NCAA will grant an additional year of eligibility to any D1 athlete who has ruled ineligible in 19 and 20. So basically they get an 8th year, I think, of eligibility. So you were a high school student in 2016, I think is 2015, and you want to play college football. Your dream is to be in college playing football in what year? 2025. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Coos. I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't know. Only thing I know is Cam Rising will now be able to come back another year, which
That's
is
right.
The guy's going to be like 27 years old.
Yes.
Playing college football. That's insane.
Yep.
I get it, and I understand why they did it, and it's probably the right thing to do, to be honest. But man, it's hard to wrap my head around as a fan. But I don't really have a strong opinion on it one way or the other, to be honest with you. I just think it's just crazy.
I'll ask you next. First, I want to get this super chat in from Carrie Go Knowles. Thank you so much, Carrie. Super chat and also a member. We really appreciate Carrie in the community. Hey, fellas, just stop by. Georgia Tech. And I don't know those others. What are those others?
They're glass emojis.
Glass emojis. Okay. Thank you so much.
Those are shot
Carrie.
glasses right there.
Let him cook.
We appreciate it.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
There we go, baby. That's
Cheers, Terry. Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Terry.
All right, this is your team. Your
love this rule. Love this rule.
Of course you do.
Yeah, of course, right? This is a fantastic rule. Cam Rising is going to be 27, 28 years old. He's going to have an opportunity to come back to Utah next season. Guys, like this guy should have a doctorate now. He should have like multi-millions in the bank in NIL money. He's living the freaking dream, guys. He is living the dream.
Ryan Thomas says he better have an MD or a PhD.
Yeah.
I hope he has a PhD by now, especially if he stays around another year. I seriously hope it happens, though. That's fantastic news for the Rising thing. If he ever wants to go pro, though, I think that he needs to make that call now based on age and everything. But, hey, if that pro analysis just isn't there, if he's going to be an undrafted free agent, would you rather have $2 or $3 million in NIL, be able to get a degree like a master's or a doctorate degree and be the king of the campus, or do you want to be living on somebody's practice squad for a couple $100,000? That's the situation that we might be looking at next year.
NIL has changed everything.
It has.
Big time.
Yep.
And so Rising is the king of the city. Like, people absolutely freaking love him. He's a celebrity in Salt Lake City. He's getting paid buku. So, hey, there's a chance, guys. There is a chance that he might stick around. Hope it happens. And I love this rule. Love it.
If he only plays 8 games, I'm for sure he's coming back.
If he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
I have a question, though, maybe you can answer this. Will the NIL money he receives have any impact on the Social Security benefits he receives?
So
he's got so much money that he's got tax advice, I'm sure, Moan, right? He's like a 28-year-old kid right now. He's smart enough to get a tax attorney involved.
So do we not have somebody in the house? We wish Jen Knoll was here. She'd tell us about the tax implications. But how do they have to declare that as income? Does anybody know?
Money. Yeah, I think that it's just like
1099 or what?
It's got to be 1099 income.
Yep,
okay.
I think so.
Tax problems. These
and Greg
aren't very smart.
And Greg Sankey doesn't even know that, apparently. So
yeah, well, that's true too. Appreciate it. All right. Were there any hot comments about this out there, Moen? I wasn't able to track everything. Was there anything that really jumped out?
Right
Oh,
there.
there's one. Cam Rising getting NIL money for sponsoring AARP. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Mike.
If you want a funny comment, that's your guy right there.
I was just going to say, Mike, you're a class act, man. Ever since we met you, you have been so awesome, and we love you in the community. I don't ever want you to think we take you for granted, because we absolutely do not. Let's see here. John Dry is in the house. He's saying, hey, all, good to see you. The Almighty Finn had a comment. If the SEC wants North Carolina so bad, why didn't they just take Duke, which is a private school, and not have to worry about all the other stuff that comes with UNC and NC State?
I can answer that.
Please.
Duke won't take the SEC.
Yeah.
They've got too much pride and too much wrapped up in their academics to join a conference like the SEC.
That totally makes sense. Either you or Justin, you guys want to comment on that? You don't have to.
Go ahead, you.
Yeah, so I don't think that UNC is untethered yet to go proceed through something like that. I think there is a real tethering. The backpack, the Wolfpack backpack, is a real thing. While it's being severed, and while money and pressure sever the backpack every day, and eventually it will be completely severed, and NC State will end up in the Big 12 conference, and UNC will end up in the SEC. It's just not there yet. And what has to happen is Clemson and Florida State need to leave, and there needs to be a renegotiation of the ACC contract. When they look at the money, the lower money that's going to be coming in after Clemson and FSU look at that, they're going to absolutely, it's going to blow their minds and cause mass panic over there in North Carolina and the local government, which is going to sever the backpack. That's how I see it playing out, at least. And so maybe Duke does end up going along with UNC to the SEC. I wouldn't say it's likely. I don't know if Duke brings enough value, but it's definitely a compelling question too, because like you do get something with that rivalry. UNC Duke brings significantly huge basketball value, but like, do you want to get redundancy or duplicity in a market? You're already getting North Carolina and that area too. That, the Tobacco Road area. So I don't know if the SEC, I don't know if you double dip and if you're really maximizing value, probably not. So maybe Duke gets left out of that.
You want to say, go ahead, Goose.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a good question. I'm like Wild Ute. I don't really think Duke brings enough cachet necessarily from a football and brand value standpoint on that side of it. And also the SEC seems to like, there's been a few exceptions, but they seem to like flagship schools. I think that's the whole reason a lot of people are thinking that Virginia may end up in the SEC, which I think is, look, I hate Virginia Tech as much as anybody, but for them to take Virginia over Virginia Tech to me is insane if that actually ends up happening. But I digress. To me, I think Duke's a better ad than Virginia, to be honest with you. But that's just me.
Very fair. You're in the region, so that means a lot. So anybody that's watching, just know that West Virginia and the eastern part of the Big 12 is represented well with Justin Kuzwalker. We got another super chat here from Mark Bowman, also a member, $10, says, when I played Division III football in the 70s, it was pretty much impossible to play past the age of 25 because you lost a year of eligibility for each year over the age of 21 you were. Those are that's some tough rules right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Times have changed. Wow.
Yeah, no joke. And then, Gardy, sorry. Go ahead, Justin. You were going to say something.
I was just going to say maybe he should sue for back pay.
Yeah, maybe they will. They may do that. Another super chat from Kerry Go-Knowles, a member, and $5 says Utah fans should push Cam Rising for Heisman. He's 2-3 of QBs coming back.
I think it's
Let's
go.
Top three.
Thank you.
Let's go, Kerry. So check this out, Kerry. Last year I put a Heisman ticket in for Cam Rising, and he didn't even play, so I got that money back. You better freaking believe that I'm going to put another ticket on Cam Rising. Let's go. Let him cook. Let him cook, Moan. You got to let him cook for that one. Cam Rising, if he wins Heisman, what are you guys going to do?
Let him cook now.
Well,
Let him cook. I said let him cook.
I think he's a great player and a fantastic member of the Utah family. I would be shocked if he gets through the whole season and plays every game.
Yeah, I was just saying he better be good after 7 years in the system.
That's crazy. I don't care about how old he is. BYU's had old players forever. By the way, the older they get in college, they're not necessarily better, just so everybody knows. But I just, his injury history just, yeah, anyway. Coos, you want to say anything else about Cam Rising before we move?
Not really.
Okay,
I think those guys covered it.
Mr. Ed Wayner says, ask Coos if Virginia Tech, Louisville, Pitt, etc. join the Big 12 in the future, how would they compete in a 20-team Big 12?
They would compete well. I mean, I think they're pretty much. I think those programs are. I would consider them peer programs to the programs in the Big 12 now. I think it'd be great, and I think you got 1, 2, 3. You have 4 or 5 maybe rivalries built in with those 3 teams coming in between Cincinnati and West Virginia. That's 5 rivalry games right there if you add those 3 teams. It's pretty exciting to think about, really.
Such a gift to West Virginia. I think this is going to happen. And when it does happen, assuming it does, West Virginia is going to lift as a program because of all the talent going to Big 12 schools in the geographical area. I think it's going to be a huge boon for West Virginia as a program. And the idea of playing at Virginia Tech and seeing the backyard brawl in house and stuff, Louisville versus Cincinnati, that rivalry, Kagan Nails and everything, super exciting to see and stuff. They're going to lift the conference for sure. Yeah.
Moen?
Yeah, these are the most logical picks to join. Along with Syracuse.
I would put Miami on that list. I disagree with you about Miami, but yeah, they're definitely a target, but they're only a Big 10 target.
I think.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think Moen may be cheating. I think he might say Syracuse and Georgia Tech.
That was an organic Syracuse.
Just so he has an excuse to take a
They
swig.
do.
Yeah, that was organic.
Look, I'm trying to control this zoo, and I lose track. So I'm sorry. I appreciate you calling it out, though. These guys need to be held to account. That's all I'm saying.
I would probably be joining them if I didn't have to drive somewhere later. So it's okay.
Really quick, we got 100 people watching us live. It's Friday evening. I'm glad you're here joining us. We've got with us Coos from Coos Corner Walker, and we're just talking a little bit of all of college sports and primarily college football tonight. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're following us all on Twitter, and then turn on those notifications to begin to know when we post our comments or put out our invitations for our shows. Let's see here. We got another super chat from Shonsky, $5. Another member says, Coos, do you know anything about the Longhorn Network owing money to the Big 12 teams? I heard the Longhorn Network was a tier 3. He asked me that question, and I told him I had no knowledge.
I'm not really well versed on it. My understanding is, and I could be wrong on this, my understanding is that Longhorn Network was part of the ESPN package.
I thought they bought the whole thing.
So the Big 12 is getting nothing from it. It's just basically going away. And the tier 3 package was part of the ESPN Plus, probably, if I had to guess. The Longhorn Network is probably tied into all of that. So, but again, I'm no expert on it. That's just based on what little bit I have read. That's my understanding of the situation.
Sean, like I said the other day, if you can find us a link to an article that's actually written, not just a straight comment in a video, I would love. I'll do a whole show on it because I think it's very interesting. $500 million is the number he heard. That's a lot of money, and it would be shared with not too many teams. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll have to see. But look for that link.
I looked into it, and the only thing I could find is it's rolled up into the SEC network.
Okay.
That was it. I didn't find anything about money being owed to the Big 12.
I had read that as well.
Okay.
But I'm hoping there's money. I hope the Big 12 is getting some money from it. Maybe that's why Brett Yormark was so positive today. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's jump to Brett Yormark. Let me get his quote. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, me and Rock and Rand have been in a little bit of a Twitter debate about this today.
About what?
About Brett Yormark's comments.
I'm trying to find where I put that link. Damn it.
He's a Big 12 hater.
Okay, guys, I've got some information here. Just
Give
on
it to
the
us.
Longhorn Network. So it sounds like due to the conflict between the SEC network and the Longhorn network, both on ESPN, the Longhorn network is expected to be fold late spring 2024. So this spring, before season. So I don't think it's going to exist anymore.
All right.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the SEC network, in other words. Yeah, just going to be the SEC network.
All right, let's just jump into the Brett Yormark link. I can't find the link for the show. It doesn't matter. We all know what he said. But Q's, you brought it up. Why don't you tell everybody what we're talking about?
Yeah, Brett Yormark had a press conference today where, he made some comments and allowed people to ask questions and whatnot. I haven't been able to, I guess my understanding it was like a phone call deal. So
it was a phone call. Yeah.
There's no video or anything on it, but it's just basically I've been having to find it through tweets that have been put out by several media members. But one of the quotes, he basically talked about how he thinks the conference is as strong as it's ever, or is relevant as it's ever been.
Right.
Some people thought that was a little too overly optimistic and crazy because we're just, we're losing Texas and Oklahoma. But I said, what's he supposed to say? Is he supposed to get up there and say, well, we lost our two biggest brands and we're never going to catch the SEC and the Big Ten.
Right.
We're just going to do our best.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What's he supposed to say?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Let's see here. Oh, that's a different link. Sorry. Moen, what did you think about the article?
Yeah, I mean, he goes in there and he says, I'm not looking for expansion candidates. Of course he's not looking. He's already found them. It's just like when people say it'll be in the last place you look. Of course it's the last place you look. You found it. So he already knows who he wants. So
he also said he was open. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't put too much stock into people saying, oh, no, there's no Big 12 expansion because he said that. No, he's just decided on who he wants.
Ute?
He is a sly, great leader, Brett Yormark, and he's going to say what he needs to say. The Big 12 is open for business, like you mentioned. The Big 12 is open for business, and you better believe if the ACC shows vulnerability, which is showing and more, and teams find it financially advantageous to escape it, he's absolutely going to hammer the ACC. Seriously, he's going to hammer. We know that. We talked about 3 schools already, but the 4, really the NC States is going to be another huge target.
You know what I think he could do? He could go to Endeavor, get private equity money, and buy the schools he wants. Convince them to leave the conference and help offset some of their exit fees. I could see him doing that.
I could see you do that for like a school like Miami. We talked about Miami and how I see Miami being a Big Ten fit.
Right.
Miami, that market is so valuable itself. It has so much brand equity just in the city of Miami, and being down there with recruiting and everything else provides so much excess outside of the football that it's so desirable, especially for the Big 12. I think the Big 10 is going to get it at a reduced share. But if the Big 12 makes a push, maybe you do offer them a major signing bonus. Maybe you get a private equity for the Big 12 at the Big 12 level, and you pay them $40 million to come over, and then just give them 100% media rights distributions after you pay them a bonus. But that's not outside of the realm of possibility, and that's actually a great strategic decision too if you think it's going to add that much value in the future for a school like Miami. But you're going to have to do that for a school like Miami if you want them. If you're the Big 12, you're going to have to really, really, really pony up, I think.
Moen?
Yeah, I don't think Miami's on the table. I think, yes, I agree with you, private equity money, but I think Louisville, Pitt, Virginia Tech, and depending on how the backpack settles out, North Carolina State.
Okay.
Syracuse or NC State.
I don't think they're going to need, but I don't know that they would need private equity money to pay for those schools because they're probably going to need a home anyway, potentially. So
no, not for anybody but Miami. We're only talking about Miami getting the money. Yeah.
But on the private equity conversation, they asked him about that today too, and he spoke. I mean, he said he thought it was a good thing that private equity firms are interested in college sports because they haven't been before, and it shows how strong college sports are. So he would not, he was taking the high road and staying positive about private equity. You can read into that what you want to, but I think Brett Yormark's the kind of guy who might be willing to take a risk like that, to be honest with you.
So where I disagree with you on Miami is that I don't think the Big 10 goes past 20. So my thought is Florida State's already a done deal. But I think that last seat on that 20 count, Notre Dame's a given, but they would go to 21 to get Notre Dame.
Sure.
Just for that 20 spot, I think it's Clemson or Miami. I don't think they take both. And I'll tell you why. Actually, there's no reason for the Big Ten or the SEC to have to reach for these guys anyway. Or they will always be available. So what's the reason to rush to buy them now? I just can't see an impending reason to do that.
I mean, they're available, but like, hey, you need to maximize your own value as a conference. If you're the SEC and it's dilutive to take an in-market team, then you don't do that for your existing members.
Right.
Defensive moves don't really work. You need to be aggressive about these things and grow your contiguous states or whatever your strategic plan is. Defensive works are a horrible business decision, and these guys are businessmen, guys.
Yeah, and I don't know. We all know, we've all heard Greg talk about how the Big Ten wants to get something done quick. That's why Clemson is on the table, because they're the one that's ready to move,
right,
or closer to being ready to move.
Yep,
more so than Miami or UNC. But I'm like you. I don't, and I'm not saying I disagree with Greg. I just don't. I haven't been able to wrap my head around why they would be in such a hurry to do it, because their media deal doesn't even come up until 2032, I think.
35.
Yeah, it's right before 37.
Okay.
So, yeah, just a couple of years. It's like 8 or 9 years away.
Okay. So I'm not sure what they would have to gain in adding those teams this early in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe Mullen, being a Big Ten guy, can speak to that better than me, but I don't get it. But
I just can't see. So I agree with you, Greg. Peek around the corner, Greg Flugar, Flug Empire on Twitter, partner, but friend of the show. The original OG on social media about realignment. I just disagree. Where's the urgency? I just can't see. There's no reason for them to pay more money. In fact, media companies are hemorrhaging money right now. The Big Ten and the SEC would never get those contracts that they have right now if they were negotiating in this window. No way. So they did it at the right time, right after COVID, and they got everybody's money, free money before inflation. And nowadays that money is gone. So the only school I see for sure is Florida State. I don't see the SEC growing unless they go for some super PAC and get 4 schools, which I don't know why they would pay, because in 5 years they could get them maybe even cheaper than they get them now. Who knows where that media value is? I just don't. The urgency, I just can't wrap my head around.
Agreed.
It's a good point, right? Like it's just the availability part. You're available and you're not locked in on one of the P2s, so there could theoretically be a bidding war. But like, hey, like in Clemson and the state of South Carolina and Florida, the SEC that's territory already. They own that territory.
Right.
Like, what? So really, from the SEC standpoint, really, what's the value add for adding FSU and Clemson? Like, you're adding football brands to pair. You get some viewership that way, but there's no synergies otherwise. You get everything else that you already have it. And so for the Big Ten, there's such huge wins and everything. I can see the Big Ten go and grab those schools and stuff. Miami, really, though, like I think Miami is the one that makes so much sense. The recent AAU doesn't mean everything, but it means a lot. And they're focused on research too. And just the brand and everything else, it just smells and looks and fits the Big Ten. Why not go to 21? What's the problem with having a 21-team conference? The Big Ten was 15 forever, right?
No problem.
Like, so odds, like just give Miami a half share and you make them dollars work easily, right? Just give them a half share. Mm-hmm. Give Clemson a half share, for goodness sake. Why does Clemson deserve a full share to go over to the Big Ten? They shouldn't. Pay Florida State 100%. Let the chips fall. Let things crash. Pay Clemson half share and Miami half share. Then all of a sudden you're making grundles of money for the Big Ten. You got 3 schools in that new geographic territory. Like, it just was a huge win-win for everybody if you do it.
I think you're spot on. I think that definitely could happen. What's great is all the ideas we're talking about here are all possible. Right now, the Wild West just continues to get wild, and it's pretty amazing to talk about it. We got another super chat from Cleveland Rocks. Cleveland Rocks, good to see you, man, in the house for Friday night show. He's a member, and for $10, he says, keeping the lights on for June. you will make Moen, who's the one that's helping us stay on track, right? We have goals. That makes Moen's day. So thank you everybody for super chats. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, I've got 5 or 10 minutes left.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, I'm
He's
sorry.
got to get his sounder. For
I
$10.
apologize. There you go.
What's that?
Well, we'll see.
That's why we did. Okay.
We're gonna play football.
Little.
Oh, gotta love it, man. You gotta love Keith Jackson.
That's fantastic. Thank you again, Cleveland Rocks. Really appreciate it. All right, so here in the last few minutes here, what's one thing that sticks out to you about what's going on in the world of college football, Coos?
Oh man, God, I don't have enough time for that.
10 minutes.
No, I think I mean obviously the realignment stuff's always intriguing, but that stuff's probably a few years away. But as far as today goes, I mean, the craziness, this house settlement deal, man, is just
right.
That is going to shake college sports to its core. If everything goes through and is approved and the courts okay it and all this. Now, here's the thing, though. I think the NCAA and the power conferences aren't telling us the whole story because I just don't see how they're going to have full immunity from other lawsuits when new athletes come into the NCAA, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is covering the current athletes potentially, but what about future athletes? And then, and I don't think Congress is going to give them. I can't think of the word. I'm having a brain lapse here, but exemption. Yeah, I don't think the Congress is going to give them the exemption they're looking for.
The tax exemption that matters. Yeah.
So I think it's a step in the right direction for them to try to get this behind them, but I think they did it out of necessity and panic. And at the end of the day, I still think there's going to be a lot more to come 2, 3, 4 years down the road, other than just this salary cap and all this other stuff. And I think NIL is still going to be NIL collectives and whatnot are still going to be a major player because these athletes, if you try to cap their income, you're asking for lawsuits. You've got to allow them to get NIL deals, even above and beyond what the schools are paying them, in my opinion. So that's kind of my brief synopsis on all that stuff that's going on right now.
I totally agree with you. We've tried to cover all that, but as you said, you could talk forever about everything that's going on in college sports. 5 years ago, we're old enough, think back what it was like during the off season for college football. Nowadays, they are in the news every single day.
Yep.
5 years ago, like give me your feedback on that. I was thinking about that yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually heard it. I don't remember what show I was watching. It may have even been 365 Sports. They were talking about, they were interviewing somebody, and they were like, man, are they, because look at the NFL, for example. They're in the news every day for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is college football trying to do the same? I mean, you didn't used to see spring meetings being covered.
No.
Nobody even knew I didn't even know there was a such thing as spring meetings until a couple of years ago.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and now all of a sudden they're doing press conferences. You've got media people there covering it. They're asking questions about realignment and NIL and all this stuff. I think there's a lot of chaos and stuff going around, but I think overall, all this media attention is nothing but positive for college football. I think it's good for the game. I think it's going to continue to grow the game. It'll never be the NFL, but I think college football will continue to grow in popularity. Regardless, there's a lot of people out there who say this is going to kill college football. No, it's not. It's not going to kill it. If it was, they wouldn't be doing all this stuff.
Right. I don't know what that even means. Kill it.
The Fox and ESPN have pretty smart people running those companies. They're not going to go out and pay that kind of money for TV contracts for sports that they think are dying on the vine, or people are going to lose interest in 10 years.
Absolutely right.
You know what I mean? Yep, they're smarter than that.
Yeah.
So I don't believe all that talk, but look, it's chaotic, and the traditional fans don't like a lot of it. But for us content creators, it's great because it gives us something to talk about year round. That's
right. Our shows can go year round now, pretty easy.
But
sure.
And heck, it's the reason I got started for the most part.
Right.
But yeah, it's so it's exciting. I don't even try. I really haven't even tried to cover all the house stuff because I just can't keep up with all of it, to be honest.
Right. So Ute has been tracking this for a while. What is your opinion about the 5 years of doing that, Ute?
5 years ago, I was perusing the internet and even jumping on 11 Warriors Ohio State Buckeye sites to look for any realignment related content. I'm serious, guys. I've been a freaking nut in this space for years.
Wow.
And an addict dating back to when Utah got in the Pac-12 back in 2011.
Sure.
Right. So really, that's when I fell in love with just the ideas of what can happen to your team with future opportunities. And it's fun to watch the Utes grow from the Mountain West into the Pac-12 and now into the Big 12 and stuff. So I love the game. Been following it a long time. And I love that we in the offseason have the opportunity to talk about college football news and stuff that's going on in realignment without having to go find it from the depths of the internet like we used to. So there's that.
Well, I love
That's
that.
where 5 years ago was. I'm serious about that too.
Yeah.
What do you think, Moen?
5 years ago, I was looking forward to the Ohio State-Oregon game.
That's
true.
true.
It didn't
That's
go very
true.
well for us.
No, it didn't.
But 5 years later, I'm still looking forward to the Ohio State-Oregon game.
I love that.
Interesting.
Big Ten's where it's at. All right, Coos, you have any questions for us before we get you out of here?
Not really, man. I really appreciate you having me on the show, and it's always fun. It's always fun to get together with you guys, man. It's always fun conversations, and maybe next time I'll bring a beverage.
You should do that. You want to tell everybody about your channel and all the stuff you do?
Yeah, you can find me over at Coos's Corner, where I cover West Virginia Mountaineer football. I cover conference realignment, a lot of stuff on that. I'm going to have a couple videos coming out related to that here in the next couple of days. So be on the lookout for that. I have a website called Coos'sCorner.com where I cover myself and some writers cover West Virginia sports. West Virginia had a big win in the NCAA baseball tournament today. So congrats to them. There's already an article up on the site. So go to Coos'sCorner.com if you want to keep up. And I am on podcast platforms as well, but I probably won't get that reinvigorated until we get closer to the season. But yeah, and I'm on Twitter at Coos206.
There we go. I love it. You guys have any questions for Coos?
You have the man to follow. One of the
All
best.
right, let's do that.
Coos.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being around, Coos. I really appreciate your answering the call tonight on short notice.
Not a problem, man.
We will do it more, okay?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
You bet. We'll see you later.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Always. Let's clap him out. Let's go. Coos is an all-star. We grew up when we were young watching him, and now we're just like to follow in his footsteps. Appreciate everybody activity tonight. We have another guest that's going to be coming up here in just a second. Justin, North Carolina State booster. While we've got a break here, guys, let's go through some comments. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, let's do that.
We got our world famous Q&A. So let's get that started, and we'll sort of go through that. Let's see here. Mike Smith says Coos is backwoods sexy. Like me.
But Coos does have the smoothest voice, though. Seriously, the guy's voice is so dang.
Radio's voice, yeah.
Radio voice, right? Just so good.
Timothy Green, another member, says, I don't understand why and when Clemson and Florida State leaves the ACC, that the ACC can't do the same thing to the Big 12 and bring in some teams to fill their spots and not break up the conference. Moen.
They can. I mean, they will, but they're not going to be the ACC. I mean, it's the same thing with the Pac. Too. I mean, nothing against Oregon State and Washington State, but that's not the Pac-10. It's going to be ACC in name, but not in the quality that it has been before.
You want to add anything to that?
Totally agree with that. Yeah, the Pac-12 is the model for what it is going to look like, and the pickle that Oregon State and Washington State find themselves in, maybe some ACC schools will be in that same situation. Maybe there's some type of consolidation or merger with those two. I think today, given like this most recent Clemson information too, where Clemson's asking for more of the judge to opine on the understanding where if grant of rights follow or not. Right. Man, I just have to feel like that's just a big win every time there's any good momentum for Clemson and Florida State. That's a win for Oregon State and Wazoo. Every time that happens, it's a win for them because they're about to get back in or partner up with big-time teams. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that they're going to pair up with some ACC teams, in the future here. I see it that way, guys. See the ACC is going to break it apart. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you for bringing up Washington State and Oregon State. They're always in the back of my mind too, and sometimes I forget because they take it for granted. But here on this show, we are fans of Washington State and Oregon State, and we want them to be in the ACC. Hell, depending on how things go, I would love them in the Big 12. But they don't deserve to be in purgatory. So I thank you for saying that, Ute. I had neglected and missed that earlier. So I appreciate you catching me up. Thank you. Let's see here. DP, another member, says, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I respect Coos and admire West Virginia. However, if I'm being brutally honest, the Big 12 football sucks, especially now that Oklahoma and Texas has left. Moen.
Well, that was some cold-blooded shit right there. You had to go out and say that it sucks. I mean, you could say the football is of inferior quality, but I wouldn't say it sucks by any means. It's going to be the most competitive league this year, I'm sure.
DP, put that comment back together when you say Clemson and Florida State are out of the ACC, and then come back to us and say the conference is better.
I think that DP would say that the ACC would suck too, just based on many interactions with them.
I agree.
And like, hey, guys, here's a reality check. There's a narrative that this is the view. The Big 12 needs to win playoff games and needs to compete for championships, or else the Power 2 and the Power 2 schools are going to view the Big 12 like this. It's not fun. It sucks on this end. Be like, hey, like that's how others perceive you. But I'm just telling you, there's a real reality check that you need to win and prove them wrong. So, like, I get it. It's easy to say, and like, you got to prove them wrong though. You got to win games. You got to win non-conference games. West Virginia, Penn State's an opportunity to show the Big 12 doesn't suck and the Big 12 is legitimate, right? That is a massive opportunity. It's the biggest non-con game in Big 12. And once a team gets in the playoffs, they need to win a game or two in the playoffs to make some noise and stuff to get some respect. Because right now, guess what? The P2 doesn't respect the Big 12, and you got to make them respect you. So you got to fight back.
Let me get this in here really quick. Want to make sure we got the right time for Justin. We have another guest coming, and we want to do it right. Yeah, I have no comments on that. I think at the end of the day, the Big 12 is going to be fine once they scalp those top brands from the ACC. That's how I look at it. Steve Ojai, Florida. Good to have you here, Steve. Does anyone realize what was one of the final straws to get Virginia Tech into the ACC? I personally do not know. Do you guys know?
Couldn't tell you.
It got really political.
Probably
Okay.
Frank Beamer.
Oh, maybe. Well, hey, Steve, if you could clear that comment up, we'd kind of like to know what that meant. Appreciate you being here, though. Another member, Expedition Greg, says Virginia and North Carolina will end up in the SEC.
Agreed.
Let's do a yes/no, Moen. Do a poll. Does Virginia and North Carolina end up in the SEC?
Yeah.
Okay. Does the obvious thing happen? Yes or no?
I don't care how you word it, but that's it.
I got to vote.
What's that?
I've got to vote.
You got to vote. Yeah. I need to sway the vote as well. Grayson Ganoush, good to have you here, Grayson. In an interview with Yahoo Sports today, Yormark stated that they aren't looking to expand and that he's looking for more revenue streams as there is some dilution in revenue distribution due to the conference. That's true. Now that everybody knows what happened with Pac-12 and the four schools that came in from the corners, basically now every school is making about $1.5 million less. So it's not true that bringing in the four corner schools came at top dollar and everybody got better. We're looking at the financials now and finding out that no, the conference is going to have to take a little bit of a hit, long-term investment to make the conference grow bigger. But, we were ecstatic at the beginning. Everybody thought new money, lots of new money. We're all going to do better. And now we find out reality is a little bit different. Do you guys want to comment on that at all?
I think that's well said. I really liked the media environment last year when all this was shaken out and stuff. It really dried up and everything. And so, yeah, I mean, like it wasn't additive for the Big 12 to add the four corner schools. This go around in the future, it likely will be. And guess what? Adding any ACC schools likely isn't going to be additive either, guys. There might be like a small little pay cut error. Maybe like it's just not going to be immediately additive, but like you're banking on the future,
Right.
and the next TV deal here. So, yeah, you said it well though.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Moen?
Yeah, short-term investment on a long-term future.
Exactly.
You're going to pay a little more now, but it's going to pay dividends at the end of the next media deal.
You guys are warming my heart. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to explain that so well that you would understand what I was saying. So I really appreciate that. I also appreciate Grayson for asking the question. Thank you very much. It's a great question. Mike Smith left a comment that I don't want to miss. Honestly, the team and fan base that has impressed me the most as far as being classy is who? Come on, say it with me.
BYU.
BYU.
All right, there we go. I just want to get that across. You at the beginning, before the league started last year, there was a lot of counter programming saying that BYU would be the worst. And now
BYU really was like pretty hated though in the Mountain West. Remember that?
Yeah, because Utah and BYU dominated the Mountain West. That's why we were hated.
Yeah, probably true.
Also, the religion thing. You can't throw the religion thing out either. But Mike Smith, I just really appreciate the comment. Thank you. It made me feel good inside when you said that. Doc Gibbs has another comment. We love Doc Gibbs' comments. Duke is a small private elite bilk.
Elite
Like Vanderbilt. Does SEC need another Vanderbilt?
No.
I don't think Duke wants to go to the SEC. I think that they would go independent before they would go SEC.
I think it's highly unlikely that Duke gets in the SEC. The only argument for Duke is getting the basketball rivalry in-house, but that does not seem to match with the SEC's philosophy, wanting to get new states and new territories and having flagships. So it's just hard to see it happen. I would say it's very unlikely.
Yeah, I don't see it. Although I do know, like Moen is the first person I ever heard say it. You need to have some auto wins in your conference. There just has to be some auto wins. And that's sort of the flip side of the Big 12. There's not a lot of auto wins. So that high competition level is great for the league, but the best conferences we now know have those sort of freebie check games. And so I think it's a great comment, Doc. I really appreciate you bringing it up.
Pitt will be that auto win in the Big 12, so don't worry. Pitt Panthers are going to be that.
There we go. There we go. Let's see. Now, you sent me this over. I'm going to put it on screen, and then we'll read this comment. Per Brett McMurphy, the Pac-12 channel will end programming on 6/28/24. How does that make you feel, Ute?
I don't have any feelings. The Pac-12 network was dreadful.
Whoa, yeah, don't go too far on that yet. You want to scroll down and see where they have everybody going.
All right. Well, why don't we get more context here? If it's
Sorry, I didn't go. You guys don't be mad at me.
I'm not mad. I'm
know,
just saying
I'm
before you go anywhere.
I'm teasing. Go ahead.
All right, Moan. Yeah, go ahead.
So apparently the University of Oregon and University of Washington are going to be playing in the ACC and the Big Ten next year, according to Spectrum. Cal is going to be playing in the ACC network, but apparently Stanford will not. So
what?
There you go. There you go.
What?
But then again, Spectrum says they'll be at your house at like 1 o'clock and they'll call you at 5:30 from the van. So I wouldn't put. I saw it. Becky Go Huskies posted it on Twitter, and I saw it. And I said, "That's fantastic." Apparently, a lot of Oregon State and Washington State fans are running with this. So, guys at Spectrum, don't put any weight into it. Trust me, I've spent all day at my house waiting for Spectrum to show up.
All right. Well, I just wanted to make sure I gave you some time if you wanted to get through some therapy about the Pac-12 network going away.
Oh, no, I can give you a rant.
I'm glad that
I can give you a rant about
Moan
Spectrum.
prevented the rant. The unnecessary rant on the Pac-12 network.
Yeah.
Well, the facilities are fantastic. Top of the line facilities.
Too. Yogi Ross, one of the best in the business. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was till last year, and I heard some games. I was like, wow, this guy's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. It was a great comment. Wanted to go through that. Let's see. Here we go. Mike Smith says, I'm digging Bomber's Shaggy from Scooby-Doo facial hair. Zoinks. Hey, Mike, it's exactly like Shaggy, just so you know. My face cannot fill in some of these gaps. So this is what you get. Actually, my wife told me I had to cut it this weekend. So it's going to be gone, but I appreciate your comment. Thank you
I
very
thought you were
much.
going Amish for a second.
No, I can't go full, right? I cannot get any hair. Like Mike Smith got the full nice beard. I can't do that.
I like it, Bomber. I like it a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you. I like it too, but you're more. My wife is more important than you. Yes.
Yeah.
Becky
Yeah,
Go
that's
Huskies.
Very
Becky
much.
Go Huskies says that petition started because of Wild Ute for proposing moving the championship games to Las Vegas.
Okay, so we need to get this petition, like this kick Utah out of the Big 12 petition. Is this? Let me ask everybody out there. I have not seen this today.
I didn't see it
Please
either.
send it to us. Any link, anything, please include it in the chat because we're going to pull it up and have a good discussion about this.
Send it to us on Twitter, guys. You can't include links in the YouTube chat.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Send it to us on Twitter. We'll find it.
Yeah.
And the it's a joke to me that they start these things. But I tell you what, the one that Ute asked, and I don't know how many months ago, it made it to the Big 12 office. And that was about moving. It was the basketball tournament to Las Vegas. Is that right?
Yeah, the basketball tournament.
Yep. The Big 12 conference actually replied to that tweet. So they might seem silly and these other things, but a lot like this story, ACC in Utah, you put something out in the ether, you put it out on social media, sometimes it can grow exponentially more than you think it will grow.
Yeah.
Like
Bomber,
incredibly.
this is like grassroots movement down here, right? Like we talked about the grassroots and stuff and lift it out.
It's absolutely true. All right, let's get to another comment. Jeff Watson, CU at the moment is the most additive addition until they burn back down this year. I maybe this year. I personally think it's next year, Jeff, but you could be right. It could be. Let's see here. Spectrum is horrible, Almighty Finn says. Mr. Monkey says UCF will make the playoff in a few years. Moen certainly thinks so.
I do. I think UCF is the best bet for the Big 12 to win a national championship.
Anybody else?
Sorry, guys, I got a little distracted. I got the link for Utah getting expelled from the Big 12, and I thought it might be from this account. I don't even know if we want to feature this account here.
Oh, then don't do it. I don't want to put somebody up there that doesn't. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
All right.
That's a good call. Thank you for
Thanks,
not
DP.
doing that. Thank you.
Thanks, DP, for sending that over and stuff. So, yeah, Utah's staying in the Big 12, so cry me a river. Cry me a river.
All right, so UCF will make the playoff in a few years.
Oh, yeah. This Mr. Monkey is nails on a lot of comments. I agree with a lot of things he says. And UCF is the one school that I, in the long term, fear in the Big 12 because of the recruiting grounds, the momentum of that program. In a few years, I would give it 5 years. But like 5-10 years down the line, UCF could be an absolute juggernaut and like the strongest team in the Big 12. I would not be surprised at all if they got there.
Very cool. We've got a silent intruder that pops.
Pickles.
Who shared the link with Pickles? I didn't do it.
I'm just cool like that.
Pickles, we do have a ghost that's supposed to be coming on, Justin. So if he does, we're going to have to let you go, just so you know.
I got you. Sorry, I hadn't tapped into the show, but
no, it's okay. It's all right. We appreciate you being here. What's on your mind?
Just missed a show this week. Been kind of off, disconnected from sports a little bit. Had a lot of other life stuff going on, but kind of quite the news of the video game. But also, it seems like I missed the whole Utah drama. That was fun. Everyone getting all in a tizzy about nothing, in my opinion. So. I don't know as far as beyond that. I know we're diving into the realignment machine never stops, but your Mark's comments in particular were interesting because it's obvious he wants teams if they're available. He can get the money for them. He can find a spot for them, but you can't say that out loud. It's like the boogeyman that no one wants to talk about.
Right. When you're looking about everything, then you're catching up. There might be a story or two that's behind, but the House versus NCAA, that really is overarching and covers everybody. What did you think about that?
Just so I'm not misunderstanding, this was the big settlement that they all agreed to. They're going to dish shell out all this money.
Yeah, 2.8 billion.
Yeah, I and it's quite interesting. I've seen the comments of certain academic people or school people saying, "Oh, the Congress, come save us. We don't want to pay all this money," even though they've been hoarding it for decades. So I'm of split minds because they've obviously been, getting the golden goose for everything it's had the last 50 odd years. All these schools have, but I don't want to see it where it comes back around and you're losing sports and you're losing some of these club sports or even scholarship sports. I don't want to see that be the price to pay for all of these people wanting what they probably should have been paid the whole time. So it's a scenario where the greed is going to punish the people that probably deserve the least of it.
That probably will happen. Really quick, just to get the members out there first. Moen, what is this green highlight here?
That means I got drunk enough to give out some membership. So Almighty Finn, W. Jason Spangler, Mr. Ed Wayner, Chad Bracey, Semin Old School. Welcome to the family. Never take sides against the family.
Never.
Omerta. Practice Omerta.
When I started the channel, Omerta, I almost made a hashtag. I was this close to making it a hashtag, but it's a little over the top, I think. Moen, anything else about the gift memberships? How they work? How do you get them?
Yeah, you just go down to the little cash icon and you can gift memberships to the community if you'd like to. If you want to, you can also set your account to auto accept those gifted memberships. But if you don't, when you see that little green thing pop up, go up there and click on it, and you can claim a membership for yourself as long as you get there quick enough.
We appreciate all of the new members. And if you're a new member that's never been around before, consider, actually everybody, if you're a new member and you got a free one, consider paying that forward and giving somebody else a gift membership. It means a lot to the channel, but more important, it's about the community. The more members we have, the more people that can watch our videos, and the more you'll know and your neighbor won't. So I appreciate those gifts. Again, think about paying it forward a little bit. We got a couple other super chats here. I don't want to lose them. Becky Go Huskies, $2 super chat says, check your DM. I sent the petition. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, the petition was sent. You know what? You guys, we can pull it up. You know what? All right, let's just pull up the petition. What do you think, Pickle? Should we pull it up?
I don't know who it is. So
it's all good. We're going to pull it up anyway.
I can nuke it. So
here, it's all good. There's nothing inappropriate or anything here. So we're going to pull up the petition.
Not worried about it.
I haven't read this. Here, let me send the link into the chat. This is the actual website that was created for the petition.
Okay.
I don't know. This might be triggering a little bit for this guy over here. So just FYI.
We got another gifted membership from Coy Moen. Another one. Look at that.
Yeah, Coy. Brandon Unruh was gifted that membership. Brandon, if you're in the chat, make sure you thank Coy for that gifted membership. If you're just listening to us on the fly, make sure you leave a thanks for him in the comment section. Much appreciated, Coy. You're helping us grow the family. That's what we care about most.
Thank you, Coy.
Thank you, Coy, very much. All right, get it up there, you.
Yeah. Wait, let's see.
I don't see it.
Let's see in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, you put it. Sorry, you put the link over there. I'm sorry.
Hey, so all the new members and stuff, check out the new Wilder University video that dropped this morning. I know Pickles and I have already talked about this a little bit and stuff. It's a shocker. It's a freaking shocker, and you might disagree with it. You probably will. That's fine. That's okay and stuff. It's a little bit of a paradigm shifter. But go check it out. It's the basketball lads. Who's the last seat on the bus?
Before we get to this, we got more super chats and people getting involved here in the show. Donnie McNerney, a member for $10, says, I would say get a cheeseburger, but with today's prices, this might get y'all a Coke. Thanks for what you do. I don't know if anybody heard this, but McDonald's and Wendy's are considering removing all free refills. They're going to go back to pop behind the counter. And because people are milking them. You buy a small cup, you can go through the 20 drinks for $1.50. So all free drinks are going away. Thank you very much, Donnie. We really, really appreciate it. Did we get a sounder for Donnie?
I did. It just
Okay.
hold on. I'll do it again for his joke.
Thank you,
There we
Donnie.
go. Let's see. Tony Lawson has a question. Another super chat. What's that horrible smell? Wisconsin. Okay. I didn't say that. That's Tony.
Tony's just upset that Luke Fickle's a better coach than PJ Fleck.
Oh, do a dun on that one. All right.
Man.
Tough okay,
Tony's being tough.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get through this one.
Oh man, I'm not sure if I can read this, guys. This might be trigger central here. Okay. Well, I have not read this, everybody.
We're not going to read the whole thing, are we?
Why not?
Well, I mean, maybe summarize it.
It's really long. It will take a while.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay, so let's get to the main points here. So expelling Utah, scroll down. Haven't read this yet, so we need to explore it together.
Okay.
It goes over 3 main bullet points down below.
3 main bullet points on why Utah should be expelled as a Big 12 member. Rationale for expulsion. Number 1, the attitude. The University of Utah and its fans exhibit undesirable traits such as Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. The dark the unwarranted arrogance of the Utes marks them as a conference outlier, a program that fails to realize cooperation and the commitment to mutual prosperity for all members is the key to success. All right, so attitude is reason number 1. Moen, why don't you read number 2?
Selfishness. The University of Utah, by its actions and comments, has made it clear it sees its membership in the Big 12 as a marriage of convenience. I assume that's supposed to be convenience. And will abandon the conference at the first opportunity. Utah's selfish position is contrary to the spirit of cooperation and unity that allowed the Big 12 to survive and thrive. The Big 12's future is brighter with members committed to the success of the conference. Utah is only committed to finding a way to leave the Big 12.
Pickles, do you want to read the third one?
Yeah, my audio's half decent. Foolishness, the arrogance and lack of wisdom exhibited by Utah's senior leadership played a critical role in the downfall of the Pac-12. Media reports indicate Utah President Taylor Randall convinced other Pac-12 leaders to reject the media rights contract offered by ESPN Fox due to Randall's belief the Pac-12 deserved 50 million rights per member per year. Big 12 security depends on wise leadership, not the folly exhibited by President Randall and the University of Utah. Oh my goodness. This has to be a BYU fan. Can we all just be honest about that?
This is actually a West Virginia guy here.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, definitely some Utah dislike undertones here. So let's look at the big rationale. Here's number 1. Scroll down just a little bit. Let's just summarize these again. So attitude, Utah's got bad attitude. They say they don't want to be in the Big 12. They're not going to really be integrating very well. Selfish and stuff, and foolish with bad leadership. So what do you guys think about that? Curious, Moen, what do you think about that?
Yeah, after having met Wild Ute, I agree with all of it.
I already signed the petition.
Worse than you think.
No, this is. I hope this was done as a joke and not serious. If it was done as a joke, it's a fantastic joke with an excellent punchline. If this was done seriously, seek help.
What do you think, Bomber? What do you think about this?
I don't have an opinion. I think it's silly the Big 12 needs to be stronger. The only way they're going to get stronger is by adding schools, not kicking them out. So this just frustrates me. It tells people that aren't paying attention, and causing trouble like this doesn't help anything.
So there's a petition here too. The more deserving programs, Oregon State and Wazoo for the Big 12 and everything. So hey, if you feel compelled to donate to this website or vote for it, go ahead. But that's really the summary. It looks like the petition to kick the Big 12, the Utes out of the Big 12. And you know what I have to say to that? Here's my response. Cry me a freaking river. Cry me a river. We're going to trash you. We're going to beat you on the field so bad. You're going to be crying like a baby. Bring it on.
There's that arrogance we talked about.
All right. That's okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate the comment and get involved. That's what matters. Go vote. Tell everybody what you think. I think that's a big deal. All right, let's get through some more comments here. We've got about 7 minutes. So let's try to get through as many as we can. And then obviously this is your last chance for comments, everybody. If your word just has to be told to the world, you'll have to make it a super chat. Otherwise, we're just going to go with the ones we grabbed. But we really appreciate everybody being here tonight and giving them to us. All right. Arnon God says, keep Colorado under the radar. What do you guys think?
That's good comment. Colorado is going to be better than expected this year. Not getting a lot of hype outside of just the garbage stuff going on, but the football team's not getting a lot of hype. They had 4 wins last year. Look for them to get bowl eligible.
Wow. Oh, I don't think so. Okay, Moen.
Yeah, I agree. Colorado will probably be mediocre this year instead of terrible.
Okay.
I have 6 or 7 wins. They'll be decent. They've still accrued talent, but yeah, they have a lot of big problems going on there.
You guys are way too generous. If they win 5 games, it'll be a good year.
They're still talented. They're among the best collection of talent in the Big 12.
But that doesn't mean the coaches can get them all doing the same thing.
Mhm.
Right? They have to work as a team. They can't go. They could have 20 all-stars at every position, but if they don't have coaches that can put them in positions to be successful, I don't care how many 5-star athletes you have. And it's not basketball, right? Recruiting in every year 40 or 50 new players on scholarship. They come, they join. Where's your continuity? Football takes 2 or 3 years for a team to really build a bond. Basketball doesn't require that. You can grab somebody off the street and they can be an all-star the same year.
Colorado, Nebraska, first couple weeks of the season, that's a big game. The Big 12, for its reputation, needs to win that game again. That's at Nebraska. Nebraska will be better with Raiola as quarterback. Colorado needs to get in that. And like in West Virginia fans, you got to beat Penn State. It's like critical this year for the Big 12. That is the game, though. The biggest circle game is that Penn State game. Got to get it. Do it. Let's go.
Pickles, last word on Colorado.
Oh, last word is I expect the media circus to be never ending. And the second they take a couple tough losses, you'll get all the excuses in the book. But I do think they'll be slightly improved.
Okay. Slightly improves 1 game, right?
Like I said,
Match me up.
6. I could see them fighting for a bowl game.
All right. That's fair. Jeff Watson again says Louisville is the new CU. What was the minute, and date, and time we said that, Ute? How long ago was that we've actually said that to the ether?
We agree with you, Jeff. 100%. Louisville.
For months,
we've
agreed with you.
Mm-hmm. You're right on. Louisville. Watch Louisville. That's going to be the first team that jumps over to the Big 12. They want it. That's the one school that just fits like a perfect dang glove and stuff. So Louisville to the Big 12 is very, very likely to happen.
Moen, Pickles, anything?
Ute and I kind of discussed today that I have some quibbles with his model, not in how he does it, but in the weight he gives each item. I do think Louisville's a good candidate, no matter how you bend the numbers. I had some interesting opinions about how it was calculated for UConn, but that's a conversation for another day.
So you watched the video?
I did, of course.
Okay, so give us. You're not exactly unbiased. You're part of the team, but what was your first thoughts about it? 2 minutes. Tell us what your thoughts were.
Syracuse surprised me only in that they were pretty well rounded. They actually excelled in most of the categories. They didn't really.
We lost Pickles.
Oh, hello.
I can hear you, Pickles. I can hear you.
I can hear him.
Somebody hear
I
me?
can't hear him. No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll keep ranting on, but yeah, Syracuse seemed to score decently well in the majority of the categories. It didn't seem like they were ever a bottom feeder, whereas UConn was just like 100% in one category and at the very bottom in the rest. It was feast or famine with UConn. And I've told you this, my quibble is that however he came up with the numbers, I have a really hard time saying that in total Washington State and Oregon State are going to be like bottom 4 Big 12 teams, but UConn is somehow a top 5. I don't think that quite sits right with me.
Well, we're not talking about teams. We're talking about schools, though, right?
Right. I just mean as value and as far as becoming members and adding to the conference.
Right.
That's my opinion. UConn has one really good thing going for them, but only one.
Yeah, right. Well, UConn. Okay, so let's talk about UConn. UConn is divisive. UConn's a candidate that Bomber and I have pushed back on a lot over the last year and a half. And we have not liked UConn into the Big 12. I still don't necessarily like the idea of UConn in the Big 12. Let's just make that super clear. But on paper, we can look at paper, right? And like the data on paper might tell a different story. Like you summed it up, Pickles, though, they are an up and down candidate. They're either elite or horrible, right?
Yep.
But then the thing is, there's a lot of Big 12 schools that are in that middling to slightly below average tier for most of the categories. So when you've got the elite metrics and stuff, it's going to lift you. That's something the Big 12 doesn't have on paper. Like, for example, market size. Like the UConn market size is absolutely enormous based on what we're looking at. Based on what I'm looking at, I think that's the gold standard of how you look at markets based on the DMA. And UConn brings by far the most and stuff, and that's a huge value add. And plus, just looking at its brand and basketball, those are three main criteria. It's big time. So as football's terrible, viewership's horrible, it's like beyond terrible and stuff, like it's offset, more than offset by its other criteria there. So it's surprising. I did not expect the result, but still, I didn't want to. I thought it would be a little deceiving if we didn't put that out there based on what the model's saying. Because maybe there's something to that. Maybe it's just a paradigm shift, and maybe we need to change our minds about how valuable UConn is. And if we need case in point for that, look at Brett Yormark trying to push for UConn. Do you think he's going to push for a dilutive member? I don't think so. I think that he knows what he wants. I think he knows what would add value. UConn could be that. The Big 12 presidents, athletic directors, would they buy it? I'm not sure. They didn't buy it last round. Would they buy it in the future? That's a different story. But Yormark clearly thinks they're an ad.
Is there a possibility that he says, hey, UConn, you can come in as basketball only at a really good share, or we'll take your football team too, but you're going to get less because it's actually reductive to our value?
Man,
do you think that he would?
Right?
Yeah,
all options should be all options on the table with Yormark. I wouldn't
basketball
put anything
only
out. Yeah.
Basketball only is a slam dunk.
Yeah,
No
I don't think nobody disagrees with you.
Yeah. Here's the things, like, okay, so UConn, the things that we didn't even consider that do matter, like ancillary and stuff, not to a media company, but to like a school like Utah, Arizona, BYU, etc., right, is that UConn's a dang good academic school. Dang good, like elite for the Big 12 academics-wise. So would you really just want to have basketball only ad and have everything else, including like the academic affiliation elsewhere? I think that you bring them in-house and stuff because there's so much there. And I think that the football program will get better. I mean, the football program, it was disbanded for a couple of years. They didn't even have football. So the football program can grow and can be a bottom feeder. And it could be one of those schools that just eats losses in the Big 12 like we need.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, everybody become a member, watch the video, and then you too can, obviously Ute is passionate about the work he does. He wants to engage, right? So get with him on Twitter and let's sort some of these ideas out, because I agree. There's no option off the table. And then who knows what happens in the next piece of realignment. One last super chat, and we're going to close this sucker out. Kerry Go Knowles for $4.99 says, that's silly. All fan bases have those. I'm assuming Kerry's talking about like Utah fans. Is that
either that or the petition too? And there was a West Virginia fan that started the petition. There's great West Virginia fans. I love most West Virginia fans. So there's just going to be some in every fan base, but Utah and West Virginia have a lot of them, like a lot of fans and stuff. So there's going to be some unique accounts.
Moen, do you want to say anything about that?
Most Ohio State fans are assholes.
Yeah, they are.
But we've earned the right. So.
Exactly. Pickles?
Yeah, every fan base has their bad eggs, and unfortunately they tend to be the loudest. But if that petition was a troll, I give it a 10 out of 10. But if it's serious in nature, that's pretty sad. So you might want to go back to the drawing board on that one. But as a troll, it's peak college football.
What if it's a serious troll? Like, hey, I'm going to act like this is a troll, but I'm kind of serious inside.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it off like a troll.
You get the backdoor exit when everyone says how dumb it is. I mean, yeah, sure, go for it. It's your time you're wasting, I guess.
All right, guys. I think that's where we're going to go the rest of the night. Appreciate everybody for being here tonight. Pickles, tell everybody about your show.
Yep, Big West Mafia, Mondays, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific for now, but we're going to keep that time. Been off the last few weeks. That's why I wanted to hop on here. Been missing you guys and chatting some ball. But we're going to go over everything we've missed over the past couple of weeks, and specifically some Pac-12 things also, because the West Coast is ever changing. And although our Big 12 friends are looking eastward, there's still much to do in a conference that no longer exists. So tune into our show, Big West Mafia, Mondays, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
All right. Thanks a lot. You, why don't you give us a final word?
Great show today. Look for what drops in the Clemson result, if anything, and if there really is. And if this judge rules that media grant of rights don't follow a team after they've left a conference, that is the biggest game changer. That's going to be the game changer upon game changer. It's going to significantly reduce the financial costs of leaving the ACC, and it's going to actually rupture the ACC, completely rupture the ACC. So that is a massive result there. So we'll see what happens with that, if it happens, and we'll follow closely in the future here.
Moen.
Yeah, I would also say watch Sergeant Pickles and Becky Go Huskies Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Very good show. They're very informative. I like to watch them. They're my go-to show on Monday night. And I would also add that if that guy is not a troll, he needs to seek help.
Seek help. Yeah, okay.
Seek help.
I appreciate everybody for coming. Mad great comments. New members, super chats. It was just a fantastic show tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, one last time, make sure you're following us all on Twitter. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up before you hit that X to close out the window. And finally, turn on your notifications. That way you know when the next show will be. Moen, Sunday night, what's going on?
Sunday night, Rock and Ranter and I are going to sit down and talk, and we might have a very special guest coming on. So I would suggest everybody tune in Sunday night at 8. Tomorrow, Timeline drops at some point when I get done recording it. Timeline will drop in the members-only section. Thank you to everybody who super chatted, became a member, gifted a membership, gave us a great comment, gave us a like, gave us a follow, gave us a subscribe, gave us a Syracuse and Georgia Tech. Cheers.
One for the road.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Well, thanks everybody. One more time, we're here for you guys. It's fun for us, but the interaction's what drives us. You see how passionate we get about our own little things. A couple shows ago, I was really passionate about something. That happens, and we want to encourage you guys to be a part of that. So join us on Twitter. We also have a Discord. Mo, why don't you tell everybody about the Discord?
Sure, it's in the description box if you want to join the Discord, but I'll go ahead and pop this in chat.
It's free. And
free,
you can come
talk football 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's a voice chat in there. You can go in there and voice chat with people. Sometimes I get drunk and go in there and sing.
Has been known to happen.
These things happen.
Yeah. So I'm glad we got Discord in there. We'll see you on the Discord server. Other than that, everybody else have a great night. Stay out of trouble. And this is going to be a beautiful weekend. Get out and do some yard work, would you? All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Peace.